Where is Jack Ma?
Do you know?
No, I was curious.
Why is Elon Musk asking? Well, Jack Ma wasn't in jail, but why did he vanish for a bit? The stories of Elon Musk and Jack Ma are like a mirror reflecting how super-rich tycoons influence their countries in the US and China. Two totally different vibes. Elon Musk, the guy's practically got the White House on speed dial. He helped to propel Trump to power, flexing some serious clout. Meanwhile, Jack Ma in China, his political sway is more like a whisper in a windstorm. Let me tell you a Chinese saying, your butt decides your brain. In other words, where you see to your position and your interests shapes what you say and do. Billionaires like to feather their own nests, and the easiest way? By influence with politicians to push policies that fatten their wallets. Representative number 1 goes to Elon Musk. Sometimes they even jump into the political ring themselves. Representative number 2 goes to Donald Trump, the billionaire who's been US president twice. Yeah, I'm still wondering why your America has elected Trump twice. In China, not a single businessman sits among the top 100 or even 1,000 most powerful people in the country's highest decision-making bodies. Sure, you might get a rogue official here or there taking bribes, but the system isn't rigged for tycoons to buy their way in. Jack Ma's disappearing from public that showed the world how far China is willing to go to keep its billionaires in check. Let's get some review. In October 2020, in Shanghai, he gave a speech trying to whip up public pressure to force the government's hand, basically daring them to take on the kind of risks that sparked the 2008 financial crisis. Here's the deal. With just $400 million, he leveraged $40 billion in loans, aiming for a record-breaking $500 billion IPO, potentially the biggest in human history. His risk? A measly 0.1%. His gain? A whopping 99.9%. The Chinese people stuck with the opposite. All risk, no reward. The public calling him out for trying to enslave borrowers for life by pushing loans on the people, especially those who couldn't pay them back. Jack Ma offered a recipe for disaster. So why didn't China throw him in jail? Simple. There's no law for that. China's market economy is new and still growing, and Jack's moves, while risky, were part of market innovation. Pioneers like him get some navy. Just like kids exploring the world, you let them push boundaries, but keep them safe. So you now know China is a mixed bag, still figuring out this market economy thing. Jack Ma became China's richest because he made massive contributions to its market growth. But screw up? You pay a price too. Alibaba got slapped with a $2.8 billion antitrust fine, had to sell media assets like the South China Morning Post. And Alipay was forced to split its known business into a separate company. That's China keeping its elites on a leash. And more interestingly, once the punishment's done, it's done. Jack Ma is living his best life, still sharp as ever with his business brain, but much more low-key nowadays. In February this year, China's president invited Jack Ma and 30 other tycoons to a private enterprise summit. Yeah, you heard that right. All of them from private enterprises. So what's the government's goal of the meeting? To hear their ideas, boost their confidence, and get them to keep innovating. But there's a catch. The government's got their backs as long as they step up with social responsibility. And, of course, innovation. The Chinese government's game plan is clear. Create a bunch of rich folks first, then let them lift up the poor. Jack Ma and his billionaire buddies are the first rich. Great. You are loaded. You can enjoy your beautiful life, of course. But if you try to rob the little guy, the government won't let that happen. Follow me and check out my last video on Jack Ma for more.